Hello. Today I join you not from the beach. I join you from my living room. I wrote down some thoughts today. Of course, one of my series was on note taking. So that's what I've been doing. I do follow my own advice. Um, and I also edit the glasses because it seems like in the Midwest where I'm from, I don't see as well. So maybe it's just the brightness of the coast that makes me see better. But something was on my mind, so of course I had to do a video um, of why do I get frustrated? Why do I get frustrated with the people in my life, like my family or my friends? Why do people not understand me? Why does my family always tell me you're just never satisfied? You're never happy with what you have. You always need more. Um, a lot of times I just talk just like this, but it dawned on me that my perspectives and lifestyle is very different than some of my family. Not a bad thing. I love them deeply. Um, but as I studied that and I resonated with, oh my gosh, they see me as never happy or never satisfied. That's the farthest thing from the truth. I'm a very blessed person. And they know that. They know that. I love my family very dearly. But I have heard that more than one time. So, as I got to thinking about this, I'm sure it is very complicated for them as I step back and think about their perspective as well. But I decided there's two types of mindsets there's a growth mindset and there's a fixed mindset. And in the Midwest, where I'm from, a fixed mindset tends to be very common in where I live. And so I am sure that it's very difficult, but you can't be both at the same time growth mindset and fixed mindset. It's one or the other. The only thing in my life I think that I am black and white about is growth and fixed mindset. I don't know of a gray area. Maybe you can like this and comment as well on if there is a gray area that I don't know about. Disclaimer, I am not a therapist. I am not a psychiatrist or anything. So this is just me and my personal beliefs as I study and try to think through these questions that hopefully am not the only one that thinks of. But I wanted to talk about these mindsets. There's no right or wrong way to be. I'm sure, though, that that's why we have a hard time fitting in some of the people groups. Is sometimes we'll be in a period of growth, but we're surrounded by people with fixed mindsets, or vice versa. You may be a fixed mindset surrounded by all of these people that you think are dreamers and pie in the sky thoughts and just not into your group. So, a growth mindset can also often feel like you're in a cage. That's where I think where the never satisfied part comes from is that we like to push boundaries. We like to ask questions. We see threats and challenges as opportunities to push back, to learn, to grow in those areas and to strengthen. But again, if we step back and think about the people that are listening to us. Yes, I talk with my ink pen. Um, I bet that makes a fixed mindset uncomfortable. It may feel like we're breaking apart the walls that we're pushing up against that are safe. So instead of being frustrated by this, I need to flip the switch in my mind and be mindful of this. So, of course, as you know, I'm a growth mindset. I've said that. Um, so, my belief, which I have struggled with, and this is why I had to write this down, is to kind of think about why is it I feel like this. But my belief is if I'm not growing, then I fall into one of the antonyms, which kind of is more scary to me to be described as inactive, dormant, plateaued, or stuck. So if you Google antonyms or growth, that's what comes up. That scares me more than growing and testing boundaries. Um, Fixed mindsets are good. So these people often, feel value or often are the people who value stability, do as they're told. They're unwavering and deeply committed and loyal. So basically, the roots to my tree branches that wave all over. So, without the fixed mindsets in my family and friend groups, who knows? Like I said, they're my roots for my tree that bends and waves all over. More like they're the dandelion that's always there, where I'm the dandelion flower that turns into the little seeds and blows all over the wind. So I think, there's not a bad way to be, but they are the people who give me perspective, plays the devil's advocate so I can see another approach, and heals my heart when those try and fail attempts hurt a little bit. So it's good to have fixed people in our growth mindset lives. Um, but today, anyway, I digress. Today, we talk about growth and what are some ways to grow. Maybe you're in that fixed period of life, but you're like, I think it's time to start growing. Or maybe you're growing and you're like, I feel like I'm blowing in the wind. What are some things that can stabilize me a little bit more and focus my energy in a positive way? So I think growth is important on all levels, not just physical fitness, but also mental, spiritual, and emotional growth to make the whole person. Mental growth, learn a language, travel to a different region, read a different type of book, or read a book, learn to read. Those are things that help us mentally think, and to challenge our beliefs and our thoughts and our cultural norms, which there is no right belief or thought or cultural norm. We are all right in a perspective. Spiritual growth, sit still. That is the hardest thing for growth mindsets, is just to sit still and be. Or as the Bible says, to sit still and know that I am God. So meditation. Um, build a prayer life, journal on your thoughts. And many of these episodes, I always say journal, pick up a notebook. You will see in some of my episodes before, if you like this and subscribe to YouTube or Instagram or Facebook, then you'll see me with this notebook. And I'll have new notebooks throughout the time because I write a lot. Hence, I write books. My first one that I published, Stand in the Sun, SON, and Shine, um, spiritual annotation for Jesus. Um, so, anyway, back on track for spiritual growth, journal your spiritual thoughts and then read spiritual texts related to that. Um, I read the Bible, but I also am known to read the Quran, the Torah, all kinds of sacred text, for perspective. Um, I don't necessarily think, I'm not a Bible preacher or a Bible scholar. I grew up Christian. I value Christian beliefs in my life, but I also think that they're very, very closely related to Muslim, Hindu, and uh, Buddhist practices as well. So I think I'm a mix, kind of like America, a melting pot in my head on spiritual beliefs. Practice gratitude, serve others. That is one of the biggest way to grow yourself spiritually, is to serve others, and then join a study. All of those things are helpful. Emotional growth, again, emotional intelligence is a thing. Very, very good for all of us to practice self awareness and emotional intelligence. How do we control ourselves? Are we even aware of ourselves in good times, bad times? How we express anger, um, frustration, how we express anxiety and hurt? But sit with yourself and be self aware, feel the emotions, but write them down again, journal, identify how to better express your emotions. That is called emotional regulation. There are some great studies on that. And therapy. I'm a really big fan of therapy. Um, I have a therapist. I think everybody should, just to talk through and grow. If you're not good with coping skills, I would like to point out a good website. It's called coping.us for the United States people. Um, look it up. Maybe it'll be a good reference for you. But if you are like me and love change, testing boundaries and learning, that's great. If you are a fixed mindset and happy with this, that's great. But just know you need to support your friends, your girlfriends, your guy friends, whatever, in their growth phase because you will be there one day too. It is a good thing. You may just have to pull us back down again. So we're reaching up, grabbing the water. Our roots are pulling us back down. And sometimes, just like that, we can feed our roots, or sometimes our roots can feed us. So, just food for forethought, and I thought I would share what was on my brain again today. Please like, share, um, subscribe. And from my living room, maybe tomorrow, who knows, I'll be on my deck with a cup of coffee or something. Namaste.